Williams, the re-elected regional councillor for the Kummersdal constituency and also now the elected chairperson of the National Council. Good evening and welcome to One on One.
Good evening and thank you for having me, Patrick.
Well, let's start with just taking a moment of reflection in what's happened recently in the regional council and local authority elections. The biggest criticism was the fact that not many people turned out in terms of voter apathy, voter turnout rates compared to the National Assembly elections. Do you think that is a signifier from the people that the electorate doesn't think that the National Council and Regional Council elections are important?
I think, Patrick, what is important is that we need to educate our people. And people don't necessarily understand the importance of local and regional councils elections. These are the bread and butter issues that these people deal with. And a lot of hype is made internationally, nationally, about presidential and National Assembly elections. And I think because in most countries, National Assembly, they don't have a bicameral system. They have a unicameral system. But also, because it's just a year after the presidential and National Assembly elections. And I think people also have voters fatigue and, the timing of when it's taking place, etc. But the importance of those two elections need to be marketed better, and people need to be educated on their rights and the responsibilities, as well as the responsibilities of those people they are electing in those crucial two positions.
But then what's been inferred here is that the electorate is somewhat naive or somewhat ignorant because they need to be informed. What if they are making an informed decision and saying, we see that power is very centralized, we don't understand decentralization, we don't understand how the system works between the governor, the regional councillors, so maybe that is an informed point rather than saying that people are not educated. What would be your response?
I am saying that, yes, I think in the past we have failed to actually, because up to now, people think that local authority responsibilities belong to regional councils. And I became a little bit upset in the beginning when somebody would tell me, well, I elected you. I have a problem with my water. I have a problem with my electricity. I have a problem with urban that I need to get. I have a problem, that my house is standing on a corner and there's no street that is starred in that area, etc. And then later on, I realized, when I analyzed the situation, that actually they don't see the local authority councillors. They see me and other regional councillors as the person they are electing for that political party, but they see a picture, and that becomes their councillor. So whatever it is, of course, you are a middle in-betweener between the government or any other institution and the people. But they also elect local authority councillors.
So that's exactly my question. Is there maybe too much duplication when it comes to this bicameral system, which means we have two houses versus this unicameral system, which is one house? Is there currently, after 25 years of independence, relevance or significance of the National Council or the bicameral system?
Absolutely. And I will say that in a very strong affirmative. I will tell you why. The National Council is the house of review. And sometimes people say, even some ministers in the past would say, Parliament and National Council. They don't understand that in the Constitution, both houses form Parliament. Now, I will tell you why the National Council is very important. We are elected on a first past and post, which means people elect us in a constituency. Whereas for the National Assembly, as well as for local authority, the local authority becomes their one constituency. For National Assembly, the whole country becomes their constituency. So people have not seen those people's faces. So they don't really keep them to account in as much as they keep people in the National Council to account. And I will quickly tell you that. The National Council, when you review, what does a principal do at a school? What does the inspector do when he comes to a school or she comes to a school? You come and review the work done by the teachers. And that is the important house. It's the upper house. It's called the upper house.
But the question is it effective? Does it add value?
It is.
Are you merely just rubber stamping bills that are passed in National Assembly?
Many people think so. But if the media also pay more attention to National Council, you would come and you will witness for yourself, not Margaret sitting here telling you what's happening. I can tell you, in the existence of the National Council, we have rejected 3 bills. We don't rubber stamp. We review it. We take it out to the people and we get people's input. We have rejected the communal land bill years back. when I just started in the National Council. And this is my 4th term, and National Council is there now for 5 terms. So the first time they did not reject. The second National Council, we rejected the Communal Land Bill. The third one, we rejected the constitutional amendment.
But how many have you passed through in comparison? I mean, if we have to look at that, you'll say that most of the bills don't really get debated. The National Council seems to be a symbolic institution. Did we overthink when we created the bicameral system?
No, and that's why I'm saying if the media will put more emphasis in also understanding what the National Council is. Of course, it should come both ways. But then you will see that we have done a lot of amendments that we sent to National Assembly. Unfortunately, if National Assembly don't feel that they need to take on board those amendments that we have made, they reject it, and that's why people don't know that we have made the amendments. But we have done a lot of amendments in the past with bills that touches on the lives of people.
Let's focus a little bit on, again, you know, in the context of significance on the National Council. When we're looking at things like gender, you know, obviously with the SWAPO Party introducing the gender policy, you see a well-represented National Assembly. And recently, according to an IPPR report, it stated that, you know, very little women are guaranteed. But now as the chairperson, what are you going to do to ensure gender parity in the parliament?
Of course, let me also make that correction that for National Assembly and for local authorities, we will get gender parity in the SWAPO Party, not in all, because other parties don't have their constitutions. But in addition to that, you can then zebra stripe, because it's a party list. When it comes to first past and post, you sent in 2 women's names in SWAPO Party, I can speak, you know, with authority on that, and 2 men, which was 50-50. But you don't have any way in determining who will be the one person coming out eventually in the democracy that we have. Now, I would say that yes, we are very disappointed, because when this decision was taken, we did not look into that there should be a formula. I, for one, I'm not saying this should be the formula, but I'm giving you an example. I will take Khomas region, for instance. Khomas region, we had 3 constituencies that had women representation in